Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today, Friday morning, January 7th, 2022. The man they call Meathead, Matthew Thomas, the one with the golden pipes, the golden piped Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Meathead, how'd you find out about my pipes?
Well, I have a friend in the plumbing business.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's nice
He's got a
to,
plumb
like
pop.
seven degrees of separation, That's
Yep.
it's a small world. And if you want something small or extra small or medium or large or extra L
Or schmedium, as they were in the wrestling.
Yes, exactly. They got all the sizes for you over at collarandelbowbrand.com. Point your URL browser over to that website, enter promo code Linda K at checkout, and if you're having trouble spelling that, I'll spell it out for you. LINDAKAY. Save yourself 10%. You can save 10%, and I wonder, would that actually fit on a vanity plate? How many letters can you have on a vanity plate? Can you put Linda K on a vanity plate?
It used to be 7, and then some states were 6.
1, 2,
now it depends on the vanity plate that you get. Sometimes you can get 8 with smaller font.
Yeah, or maybe if you run out of room, like you can't get the Y there, you can just do Linda Kate, and like have an 8 for the last.
Because the license plate that the man they call Meathead wants, but it's 8 letters. So I mean,
Hey, you gotta do what you can.
Hey, let's talk news real quick. That table spot from Wednesday night, the main event, Luchasaurus putting Rey Fennix through the table. After further review, going back and watching it, it looked gruesome. The good news is Rey has tweeted out that no broken bones, just a dislocated elbow.
And I didn't catch it, when it first happened. I remember the table spot.
Didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, I don't remember necessarily, and you got to go back and watch and see, if they maybe cut away from it kind of quick or what. But yeah, it did not register with me, and apparently not with you either on the first viewing. But yeah, going back and looking at that was a nasty stomach turning spot there.
Yeah. So the good news, again, Rey Fennix is okay. He's going to see the doctor again, but no broken bones. That leads me into a little bit of news that you didn't know I was going to bring up, Matthew.
Oh, I like surprise news.
PWR Fantasy Draft 2021. I am dropping the Lucha Brothers and picking up. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Cash Wheeler.
Ooh.
Ask yourself why.
Yeah, I'm really confused by that move. But I mean, I guess you're playing like, 4-dimensional chess or 1-dimensional chess or whatever. This is coming from the guy who made a drop earlier this year and picked up Dewdrop. So I don't really question any of your moves anymore.
Ask yourself why. Why did I pick up only Cash Wheeler and not FTR?
Yeah, why did you just pick up Cash Wheeler, Meathead?
Because I can use my tag team spot in WWE, which will be worth more points. Interesting. All right. Well, that's a surprise move on my end. I like the surprise move that I made back about a month or so a little better when I dropped somebody. I can't remember who it was at the given moment. Oh, maybe it was, I think it was Bryan Danielson, and I picked up Brock Lesnar, and I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that maneuver on my There's
part.
one other move, Matthew Thomas. We are now officially tied at the top.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now,
are you ready for this? Dropping Joe Gacy, picking up Alexa Bliss.
Interesting. Not a bad move. Not a bad move, but the important news, ladies and gentlemen, the takeaway message, the cliff notes, what the title of this show will read is Matthew Thomas in the midst of dead heat right now. Yes, Matthew Thomas has ascended to the top of the PWR Fantasy Draft.
Dead heat tie.
We'll see how that Rumble works out for you, Meathead.
Well, we'll see. The Royal Rumble coming up very soon. The rosters will lock at the completion of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event. By the way, WWE now calling those WWE Premier events.
And it's still pretty much exactly what it was. Just I will say this. We didn't talk about this last week, but I actually found my rewind capabilities on that pay-per-view a lot better than they were previously. Now, I could not just start from the beginning, but it seemed to have a lot more memory to let me go back and pretty much watch it wherever I wanted to.
We'll figure that out. More WWE news, the big releases from Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. One that wasn't mentioned that is now official, Samoa Joe.
has moved on as well. He Samoa Joe, we haven't seen him since he had to drop the
Yeah.
NXT Championship and was working as a coach backstage. But Joe, happy for the time and is moving on.
That company has just been stripped. It's absolutely amazing. And the fact that, the Samoa Joe was not, the takeaway. It was just kind of under the rug there. Let's look at this. So Cross, your NXT champion, just a few short months ago, released. Samoa Joe, your NXT champion, just a few short months ago, release. Don't like the tenure and the prospects of
Well, all the
these NXT
talent that was
champions.
released, Matthew, was to sign Petey Williams as a full-time producer.
Which is not a bad move.
It's not a bad move to sign him, but I mean, it just looks funny. Hey, we're dropping all these people. Petey, come on in. We got a job for you.
Yeah. Now that is unusual that they're hiring anybody at this point.
Right. So who knows? Petey Williams now working full-time with WWE. Let's talk SmackDown real quick before we get into AEW news. SmackDown, Roman Reigns has been medically cleared to show up to SmackDown tonight. And it will be face-to-face with Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion and WWE Champion. And where does Paul Heyman fall in all this?
I don't know, but WWE has got to strike while the iron's hot, and I think that's what they're doing. The unforeseen circumstances of last week has actually kind of catapulted us into a new angle that we did not expect. And,
and we're enjoying so far.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, Meathead, there's that question of I don't know exactly where they're going here. And there is that intrigue. And you've got your WWE champion now appearing on your SmackDown to do something with the Universal Champion.
Please be Farmer Brock.
Yeah, although his overalls were missing on Monday. So maybe the overalls are just a SmackDown thing for him.
Maybe, who knows?
But yeah, and where does Lashley fall into this? Do we have a surprise Lashley appearance on SmackDown? Do we blur those lines even more and get further and further away from that brand split? My goodness, I hope so. It's worth tuning in tonight to see. It is SmackDown is must-see TV, and it's been like that a few weeks here and there with Lesnar and Heyman and Reigns, and my goodness, it certainly is tonight.
Real quick, we normally don't touch on these very often, but we got some spoilers for AEW Dark Elevation coming up this week. The Jersey Shore is going to be wrestling with QT Marshall. You don't know what to say about it.
No, I don't. I thought we were past this from every company, especially AEW. This is very reminiscent of 2010, 2011 TNA. Not the good part, not the exciting Monday Night War for about 3 weeks part. Although, if we can have QT Marshall kind of doing like a Jersey Shore gimmick where he does his GTL, that stands for Jim Tan Laundry Meathead. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, this is not a headline that I expected to hear in 2022 from AEW.
Well, it is what it is. Let's talk about what's coming up tonight in 2022 from AEW. Tonight we've got Daniel Garcia 2.0 taking on Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz in a no DQ, no rules, no holds barred match. Adam Cole, baby, taking on Jake Atlas. Apparently, Jake's going to get hurt in this one because this is taped from Wednesday. Hook and Aaron Solo. And then Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter taking on Rigo and Ruby Soho. Matthew, would you expand a little bit on what we talked about as far as Rey Fennix, Jake Atlas?
Lot of high risk, high spots here. And unfortunately, thankfully, with Phoenix not getting hurt seriously, not sure exactly the extent of Jake Atlas's injury, but my goodness, I mean, it doesn't seem to be freak stuff that's happening. It's stuff that's happening as a result of a high spot, as a result of working stiff. And, you go back to, the women's match last week on Rampage, you go back to Danielson Page on Wednesday night. I mean, AEW they've got a hot product, and they seem to be kind of turning that dial a little bit now in the fact that you come over here, you're going to see a more violent product than the competition. And I don't think that all of that is necessarily needed. I don't think we've talked about this from time to time. Every now and then they try to veer into that ECW lane. And I think if done correctly, AEW has and there might be some people from the Northeast that strongly disagree with me, but I think AEW has the potential
to be a much better and much more prolific company than ECW ever was. I don't think it is a lane that is needed. I think they are legitimate competition that most weeks are putting out a better product end to end than the WWE, and you do not need to resort to shock value. Some color here and there when you're telling the story can definitely help accentuate things, but it does not need to be, something that you keep reaching in your pocket for. And I think if you do, you're unfortunately going to see people getting hurt.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Hook and Aaron Solo. Like I mentioned on yesterday's program, when they mentioned an on-screen graphic that Hook would compete on Friday night, that crowd popped.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So no offense to Aaron Solo, but I hope Hook runs through him in about 2-3 minutes. Send in Hook.
Yeah, that's what you need, man. I mean, keep sending him out there to get a decisive victory. And, AEW has done that very well with their squash matches recently. It's Hook wins decisively. With him the size he is, it's hard to necessarily call it a squash match,
Right.
as in what a Wardlow match is. But look at the pops that Wardlow's getting with the power bombs. And I think that, they've actually done something very interesting by announcing Wardlow and CM Punk, I believe, next week. Is it next week, Dynamite? Okay. You've used your squash matches to really put over somebody and get the crowd involved in it, as opposed to your traditional, early 1990s WWF squash matches where you're just going through the motions.
Tomorrow night, we will have Battle of the Belts live from Mr. Bojangles Coliseum.
Oh my good. There's no Bojangles in Wisconsin, right?
No, we don't have Bojangles.
My goodness, and no Bojangles in Colorado, but I will be traveling if flight circumstances line up correctly and everything's on time and not canceled. I will be in the great Commonwealth of Virginia this weekend, and there are a plenty Bojangles there. So you know what I'm going to do?
What does Bojangles sell? What is it?
Chicken and biscuits. Oh, yeah. And the good thing about Bojangles, it's one of those establishments where you can get, breakfast food all the time. So if you want to order you a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, you can do that. If you want to order you some chicken tenders or a chicken biscuit, you can do that. But you know what? To fully appreciate that, I think I might watch that event on Saturday eating Bojangles food. I mean, how more American and just suitable can you get?
Not up here. We don't have it. So not a big deal. TNT champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, taking on Spanish God Sammy Guevara. AEW World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, one-on-one Marito. She has never beat her before. Tomorrow night, Battle of the Belts live from Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte.
Yeah, AEW, you got to give them credit, man. Another exciting event. And, man, they are running up and down the Carolinas, aren't they? Charlotte,
they're knocking around in the Carolinas. Tobacco Road, baby.
Yeah. So good for them. And we've talked about this before, but one thing that really dawned on me watching Dynamite this week, my goodness, AEW does a good job building up the city, don't they?
Matthew, I don't know if you've ever heard this, folks. Listening to this, I don't know if you've ever heard this. Go to YouTube, look up Tobacco Road in Spanish. David Lee Roth did an amazing cover of Tobacco Road on his first CD that came out, Eat 'em and Smile. But there is a Spanish version of Tobacco Road. Absolutely outstanding.
Interesting.
Tobacco Road's one of those songs that are like 100 years old.
But good on AEW for their tour of the Carolinas and ventured up into Norfolk a few weeks ago, and I think they're in DC coming up very soon. So AEW really building up some allegiance right there on the East Coast.
Left me here to die alone in the middle of Tobacco Road. Matthew, I'm about to die in the middle of Appleton here with this throat. We're gonna call it. Anything you want to tell the folks before I cut it off?
Thank you for your strong effort this morning, Meathead, and coming off of the injured reserve to give the listeners a wonderful.
Got to give the people what they want.
Another rendition of PWR today. I hope everyone
has a good weekend. And if you can, make sure you make your way to a Bojangles this weekend and enjoy a good Bojangles sandwich while you are watching the event on Saturday night from
also
AEW.
everybody in the Louisville area. Make sure you're staying safe. There was some pretty bad weather down there, canceling some OVW shows.
And, also more wrestling coming up this weekend. Hard to Kill is Saturday night, correct?
It is, with the ROH Heavyweight Championship being defended on pay-per-view.
So maybe what you do, you get yourself a Bojangles order for the AEW show, and then another one a little bit later, or based on when you watch it for Hard to Kill, and just have yourself a big old time.
All right. For Matthew Thomas, for Linda Kay, the man to call Meathead, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you next week. So long, everyone.